Hello, welcome to lecture number 8, Managing and Evaluating the Consultant. In this lecture, we'll discuss a very important concept known as scope creep. Scope creep refers to either the client or the consultant looking to expand upon a project, not always with bad intentions, trying to get something for nothing on the client side or trying to expand the project so that they can bill more on the consultant side. Sometimes it's really just as innocent as long as you are going to be in our Atlanta office, would you mind talking to the VP of Finance down there and getting his or her perspective? Which sounds like a legitimate request, except perhaps the project didn't involve finance at all, and this is more something that's being asked as a favor, as an extension of the project. In some instances, it may be of little consequence, and the client and the consultant can agree it's really not a big deal, and it's done as truly a favor. Other times, though, it could mean a whole lot more work, maybe extra days. Maybe it means creating a separate survey instrument. Maybe it means doing other observations or travel. So depending on what it is that's being requested and how vital it is to the project and to the relationship, sometimes it may make sense to raise that as an issue and say, hey, that's something that could be discussed as a separate project. That could be proposed and we can either agree to move forward or not, but that's outside the boundaries of this particular project. Let's stay focused. Let's remain on task with this project. So scope creep can go both ways. Client can request it of the consultant inadvertently. Sometimes the consultant may try to enhance the project or increase the scope of it in an effort to further the business with the client. And it can sometimes take the initial project and the whole relationship off track. So importantly, keep your eye on scope creep. In terms of managing the consultant, is the expectation that the consultant will be on site, be given an office or a desk and a telephone at the office of the client, or is it work that can be done remotely? How frequently will communication occur between client and consultant? Is a weekly email status report sufficient, or does it require telephone or face-to-face meetings? At those meetings, who is authorized to speak for both the client and the consultant? Is it the most senior member on the project team, or are there others who are authorized to address either whole project or component pieces of the project? That should be discussed and agreed upon so that there's not confusion or conflict moving forward as to how it is that we're going to communicate and collaborate together. In managing the consultant, there should also be attention given to how will the project be evaluated? What are the metrics that have been established, both on what the client can be expected to derive or receive as a result of the project, but also importantly, how the consultant will be evaluated. And that's something that's not always thought of. What is it that the client is expecting from the consultant? Is it simply just to be another pair of hands, and that's how they'll be judged and evaluated? Did they show up for work on time? Did they do the tasks assigned? And did they submit their expense reports and invoicing on time? Or is there some other variable or function that's required in this relationship or engagement that's important to surface and be discussed as part of the evaluation of the consultant's efforts? When we talk about evaluating a project, important, don't wait for the end of the project to start the evaluation. Project evaluation is ongoing. It's iterative. It should be part of the dialogue between client and consultant so that both sides understand where have we been, how successful have we been, are there mid-course corrections that need to be done, are there things that we are in need of improving upon, and then how can we go about doing it? Are there opportunities to perhaps change the direction because what we once thought no longer is? There have been changes competitively, there have been changes in acquisition, There have been, who knows, economic changes, so that it may no longer make sense to pursue the same goals or objectives that the initial project had, and perhaps this is a time to swap out and swap in things that are more meaningful. As long as both parties agree that there's comparable or equal value, then the project can continue on its path. If, however, it may be appropriate to say it no longer makes sense for us to move forward, perhaps it's time at some mid-checkpoint in the project to agree this project has now concluded, even if it wasn't completed as it was originally designed, and then to discuss how to close the contract appropriately so that both sides are protected in their interests, and perhaps open up another contract if appropriate, or agree to go your separate ways.